So in this final lecture on bond trading instruments, let's talk about what you can trade. First of all, we saw the /ZB, which is the 30-year bond, and that's a futures instrument. Obviously, futures may not be for everybody, and so we'll cover futures in detail in the futures section. But in general, futures are a highly leveraged instrument. They are a derivative, and so if you're a newcomer to financial markets, you have plenty of stuff to do before you get to futures. But we already studied ETFs, and so this TLT is an ETF that mirrors the 30-year bond. So as /ZB goes up, TLT is also going to go up. As /ZB comes down, TLT is going to come down. And TLT, of course, being an ETF, you can trade it like a stock. There's also another ETF, which is the TBT, and that's the inverse of the, should be TLT. TBT is actually the inverse ETF of TLT. So I just made that correction. So TLT is the regular one and TBT is the inverse. So now what we want to do, and it might be a double inverse too, 2x inverse. Let's go check it out and we'll see what TBT is. So if you felt bonds were going to crash, then you would buy the TBT. And if you felt bonds were going to go up, then you would buy the TLT. And I believe TBT might be a 2x leverage also. Let's go to the platform and let's look at these ETFs and see how we might want to put a trade in bonds. All right, so the first, we know this is /ZB, okay? So over the last 10 years, this is how the chart looks like. Now I'm going to put TLT, and you'll see that the chart for TLT is going to look very, very similar to /ZB. So let's put that, there you go. It's almost an identical carbon copy. And that's because the TLT is an ETF that mirrors /ZB. So here we go. Now we can trade easily because now we can, this is just like a stock. And while we are at it, let's go take a look at TBT. I just want to make sure whether it's a 1x or a 2x. Ultra short, so it's 2x, okay? So let's go ahead to the PowerPoint and change this to a leveraged 2x ETF, okay? So it's 2x of TLT. You can see the markets have been starting to crack, and what that tells you is that if you look at TLT, has been going up. We know the bond markets also has been going up. I feel it's going to go up some more because there's going to be more chaos in the stock markets. And so what you would want to do is, once again, you can either play the options for TLT. You can come to, let's say, go a little bit further out, about 6 months. You can go to September of 2016 and buy a call option because we expect this to increase. So if, say, 140 call option, you can buy a call option. And so we can, let's go ahead and just create a duplicate order right there, try to get the mid price, and let's go ahead and buy that option. So I've bought TLT because I feel stock markets are going to crash and therefore money is going to go into the bond markets, which means /ZB and TLT is, in my opinion, going to go up. So I bought a call option and I did that. Now, you could also simply just buy the shares. So you could come here and say buy TLT. Now that is the shares. So you can say 100 shares TLT at 132. And if you say confirm, that's going to require an investment of 13,000. You don't need to have 100 shares. You can have much less if you wanted. I'm just demonstrating this. So here we go, and I'm going to try to buy TLT, and you can see the price is already going up. So let me change the price and the mid price. I'm going to give it a little bit more than 87. Okay. So now it got filled. So this is how, when your orders are not getting filled, that means your price is too low and that instrument is moving faster, it's moving higher, and therefore you would need to give it a slightly better price as well. So hopefully this is clear. I'm hoping you can see the pattern here, even though we are dealing with complex instruments like bonds and things like that, but the world of ETFs makes it so simple for you, and it's just like trading a stock. And so we have a call option and we have 100 shares of the TLT in our portfolio now. So that's really the end of the bond market section. So what I'm going to go next is to the next section, which I believe is commodities. And hopefully this bond market section has been very informative. It really helps to understand the bond markets. I've tried to keep it simple so that we understand the basics, and that will help you understand the news items that you will see in the future. Your understanding is only going to get better from that point onwards. Thank you.